Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video, I'll be going through and reviewing how I went in round 2 for the tips, and then also doing my tips for round 3. So before we get into this video, remember to like and subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you know when I upload, and let's get into the video. So firstly, we go through round 2, and as you can see up on the screen, or for those people listening, it will show that I have 3 out of 6 for the tips to start the week, and then also I got the last 2 tips right as well. But I had Collingwood by 15, and they ended up might have even been losing by 15. It might have been. Let's actually check that. Yeah, so I just got the team wrong. If I just picked St Kilda, I would have had that dead on. But yeah, Collingwood by 15. They look absolutely horrific in the last couple of weeks, so may have to adjust my expectations with them now. I had Adelaide by 13 and they lost by 19, so another poor tip. I didn't think that Adelaide would be so poor out of their midfield entries into 50. It's like their record, I think, is something like they score out of 1 in 7 stoppages or whatever, and the league average is like 1 in 4 out of clearances. And then the best teams, I'm guessing that's like GWS, Sydney and others, they do it 1 in every 3. So yes, Adelaide do have a massive fault there. Then I had Freo by 28 and they won by 26. So this was a very, very good tip, only 2 off. And yeah, it did scare me when North were up 50-13. But in the end, Freo went on an 89-26 run to overturn that margin and get it out to the 26 points that it was. Then you have Melbourne winning by 55. If you take out the first quarter, then this is an actual really good tip, as I had Melbourne by 27. The first quarter was, I think, 33-1. 33-1. So take off 32 points, and then it's only a 23-point margin. And I said Melbourne by 27, but that first quarter by Hawks was absolutely pathetic. Then I said Sydney by 17. I knew this would be it's almost a bogey game for us against the likes of Essendon and also against the likes of Gold Coast. And when we play them, no matter where we play them, it seems to be sort of a close game. And yeah, this was not really dissimilar. I mean, with Sydney going down, Harry Cunningham going down early, as well as that out of bounds goal, you could say that the margin was probably a little bit could have been a little bit more inflated. Obviously, this one's kicked a couple goals late, so I think 5 goals is probably around where the margin should have sat. But yeah, I think this one's doing exactly what they need to do, and could easily have piled on the score. Probably need to work a little bit on the defensive structures, just because Essendon piled it on, but that could have easily been just because they had wingers at halfback after Cunningham went down. Then I said Gold Coast by 20, and yep, that was wrong. Western Bulldogs won by 48 and showed that they're absolute class at times. And who would have thought when you don't sub out Riley Sanders that you go well? And we'll see what the team news for Western Bulldogs is, but I wouldn't be surprised if you see a cheeky little Jack McRae pop up again. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. Then you have Port by 12, I said, and they won by 30. It looked a little bit iffy at half-time when they were down 50-39, but in the third quarter they kicked 7 goals 3 to 4 goals 3, so ended up flipping that a little bit. And yeah, at 3/4 time they're up by 7, so that margin looked a little bit close. But yeah, just a 13 goal 5 to 6 goal 6 second half really flipped it around. What's that? 83 points to 42. Really flipped that margin around. And then you have GWS against West Coast. I predicted by 50. They ended up winning by 65 in the end. And it was partially due to a couple of late goals, I will say. They were up by 9 goals 4 at 3/4 time. I mean, in the last quarter, West Coast kicked 3 goals 6, 24 points to 5 goals 1, 31. So it was a little bit closer in the last, but the game was obviously dead by then. So GWS by 50 probably wasn't the worst tip, as a matter of fact. But anyway, we now move on to the round 3. And you have Brisbane against Collingwood. Well, one of these teams is going winless through the first 4 rounds. I know Brisbane have had the first 3 rounds or whatever. One of them's going 0-3, or one of them's going, well, if Collingwood lose, they're going 0-4. Do I think Brisbane's going to respond? Yes. They've had the bye. They've got Lockie Neal back. I think Brisbane are going to win, sending Collingwood tumbling to 0-4. They've got still side bottom managed for Collingwood. They've got Scott Pendlebury still playing, and he looks like he almost looks underdone, honestly, with the way he's playing at the moment. But hopefully, for the sake of a lot of people in the Supercoach and fantasy sphere, Nick Dacos doesn't have another shocker. So I'm gonna go. I'm actually gonna go Brisbane by, I think, 14 points. And I think that'll really solidify Collingwood not making... Collingwood might not make... I think the chance of them making finals goes down probably to like 3 or 4% if they go 0-4. Because the only team I can think of is when the Swans were 0-6 and they somehow pulled it off. But they had to win... I think they went something like... What is it now? That would have been 2017 that happened. Let's just look at the ladder for 2017, and I'm pretty sure the Swans went on an absolute, was it 2017? Yeah, they went absolutely nuts in the end. Let me just check the round for that, and just check that after 6 rounds, they were bottom of the ladder, 0-6, and then they went on to win, by the end of round 23, they ended up, 56 points, which is 14 wins. So they were 14-8 in the end. So they went 14-2 after round 6. Yep, I don't think that Collingwood are going to go... It would be very tough for them to go 14... what is it now? They have 15 games or whatever. Sorry, 17 games left after this round or whatever. Is it? Because they'll be 0-4 and they play 23 games. So they've still got 19 games left and they need 12 or 13 wins. So they'll need to go, 13-6. It's doable, but it's very, very, very tough. And by the time that happened in 2017, if we just go back to 2017, finals week 1, the Swans actually won the finals week 1, got to the semi-final, and then lost to the Cats, who lost to the... Adelaide, who lost to Richmond in the final. But it just shows that it is very, very tough to come back. And so that's why I have Brisbane by 14 points. Then we move on to North Melbourne versus Carlton. Carlton's going to win that. Carlton by, I think, 30 points. I don't think North Melbourne, I don't think they can put up a full quarter effort that is good enough at the moment. I think they can put up 2 quarters which can take it to any team, but I don't think they can put up 4 quarters. So I don't know whether they'd rather 4 quarters of pretty good or 2 quarters of absolute stunning football and then 2 quarters of nothing, really. So I don't know which one they want. But yeah, the way that they're building at the moment, if they can start to produce 3 or 3.5 quarters of absolute beautiful football, they'll win a lot more games. So I think it is bright in North Melbourne. They just need to actually have 4 quarters of effort or buy-in. Freo, I think, beat Adelaide at the moment. Adelaide's midfield is really, really weird and just not producing anything. And I think that Fremantle's midfield is such a good mix at the moment of tackling in Fife and Young. And then also Brayshaw does get some time in there. But then you have the ball winner in Sarong. And Adelaide is just all contested ball winners and no real juice by foot, which you have in Sarong, you have in Brayshaw. Young's foot, at the moment is disposal by foot's pretty poor, but it will pick up again. So I'm going Freo by, I think 24 at home. I think they get to 3-0. Then you have Essendon, St Kilda. I think just with the outs that both sides have, this will be an interesting contest. I think St Kilda's going to win just because you got so many outs in that Essendon. And I think by transition, as someone, David Hoyes was saying, St Kilda's one of the best in transition and Essendon one of the worst at defending it. So I just think that St Kilda will cut them to pieces. So I'm going to go St Kilda by 22 points. Port Adelaide, Melbourne at Adelaide Oval. No Clayton Oliver for Melbourne. Probably means that Jack Billings gets a little bit more time in that midfield, I would expect. Or potentially, you probably see just half forwards rolling through that midfield for this round. Port Adelaide look really strong. I'm going to go Melbourne against the odds. I'm going to go Melbourne. I just think that Max Gawn will have a massive impact on this game, and I'm going to go Melbourne by 12 points in an upset at Adelaide Oval. Then you have Sunday, and you got Western Bulldogs against West Coast. That will be an easy Western Bulldogs win by, I think, 14 48 points. And then you have Richmond against Sydney. I think Sydney win this game. Richmond have a lot more outs. I think they're up to 11 outs now. So I'm going to go Sydney by, I think... I'm going to be conservative and say 35 points. But I could see this being an absolute thrashing. And then you got Hawthorn against Geelong. I just think that Hawthorn's game style is not backing itself up. I think their midfield has gone from one of the best in the comp to one of the... I mean, they're still breaking in, but I don't think they're doing enough damage there. And I think Geelong will edge out the game in... Is it Hawkins 350th? I think they'll win that by 24 points. And then you obviously have Gold Coast and GWS on the buys. So that is the tips there for the week. And I guess I will see you guys in the next video, which will be the game recap of the Thursday night Brisbane Collingwood game. So I'll see you guys in that video. Bye, guys.